I was thinking of ways to explain controlled opposition that would illustrate it really well. And so the example I came to is sorting cattle. So I used to work for a rodeo company, and so we would sort the different steers, like the roping or the wrestling steers, um, into the different pens, right? And then we would take that pen to the rodeo for roping or wrestling, basically. And so the thing is the steers come from the trailer, the gooseneck, and then you have one person who has the gate to one pen, right? And so let's say the roping steers go there, right? So when the roping steer comes, the guy opens the gate, and if um, a steer wrestling steer comes, the guy closes the gate, and then the person behind him has another gate for the steer wrestling steers. And that is what controlled opposition is like. And so that's like with the Charlie Kirk thing, right? So the first gate, like the roping steers, is basically like people who think that like trannies are taking over the US and abortions are going to be mandatory and we're going to give all our money to Joseph Stalin, basically, right? So that's the first one, is that basically it's like, okay, like, yeah, like you just fall for the standard narrative, right? So that's the first gate, right? And then the next gate, the wrestling gate, I think, is, oh, Israel did it, right? So these are both levels of accepted belief, right? So like most normies, they'll be like, oh, like, dude, like it's so crazy, like all the liberals and college campuses, the left hate us, blah blah blah. Even though it's the same thing, left, right, of the same bird. Read Second Ezra. But basically, then the next level is like, oh, it's Israel, like the Jews, right? And again, like I'm no fan of Judaism, um, but the thing is that is still like an acceptable level of like conspiracy theory, basically, because it keeps it in the physical. And you can say like, oh, well, it's the synagogue of Satan, like they're Kabbalists and all that stuff. But the thing is like the left wing is not strong enough to create an antichrist system. They don't even want guns. How can they create an antichrist system, right? So the whole point of the left wing is actually to build up the right wing, because the right wing has the guts. Look at Rome, look at Babylon, all these civilizations, they were actually hardcore. The Assyrians were like vicious, they would torture people. But so that's the point of the left wing, is to justify the buildup of the right wing, militarily, physically. And so that's what's going to happen, is that the antichrist system is not going to come from liberals. It's going to come from people who think they're conservative. Anyway, I hope that message resonates. God bless.